Hey everyone, welcome back. I had lunch. I hope everyone else had lunch. I came back and dry fit the cover that we just made, and it is slightly too small. It's not going to fit. So we're going to get through the gel stain process next, and then I'm going to show you how to put welt on the back of this, and then maybe in the next hour we'll be able to come back and do that. I'm going to try during the break to re-sew it so that I can make it a little bit bigger so it'll fit. But moving on into this hour, we're going to put gel stain on the existing frame, and then we're going to put welt on the back of this. I just wanted to show you guys what we did last time. This is the seat. I don't know if you... This is the before. And the caning on two of the chairs was completely busted out, so we had to replace it with something, and I don't know how to do caning. And you can get caning sheets, but sometimes even staining them identical is really difficult. So we already did the seat on this, and we reupholstered the back where there was caning before with fabric. The back side has a solid color like golden brown because I ran out of the stripe and I thought that this looked nice. And then the front is the same stripe as the seat. Now I already went through and did a gel stain on this finish. I don't know if you can tell the difference on camera. But this one sort of is more red and has a sun-faded look, and this is like a really rich, deep brown now. So that's what we're going to do to this side here. Not this exact chair, because I have one stripped already. And we'll get this one out of the way so it doesn't get dirty. And I want to put some paper down. So we don't leave a mess when we're going to be working with everything else. And this is the chair that we'll be working on today. So the first thing we have to do before we do anything is go through and scrub it with some soap and water. Not scrub, I'm just going to use a lint-free cloth and some dish soap and water, and I'm going to clean that off. You always want to make sure you clean the dust off before you put any finish on it, or else you're going to lock the dust in. So I just have a dish of soapy water here and there. So I just have a dish of soapy water here, and I'm just or give it a porous finish so that we can put or give it a porous finish so that we can put any finish. And I'm not looking to refinish the wood of these chairs. I'm looking to do a quick flip. Sometimes the gel stain will help bring all the discoloration and everything into happy harmony. And in this case, I was pleasantly surprised to see that it toned the wood. So it took the warmer colors down and made them a little bit deeper and cooler, which resembles walnut more. I do not believe this wood itself is walnut. It looks like oak, but I don't know about wood, so I don't know how to identify it. But it's not walnut. As you can see some lighter spots where the finish is. So after I get this all wiped down, I'm going to dry it off really well. And then I'm going to dry it off with a dry towel. And after I dry this off, I'm just going to go through and scuff sand this with 3M sanding sponge, but it's not the sanding sponge you're thinking with like the harsh grit. It's like an actual sponge where it has some grit to it, like a 220 grit, but it's not super harsh, so it's not going to scratch. It's just going to take the shine off of this finish so that the gel stain will adhere better to it. So there's bare spots like all over this wood that will get filled in also when we do this. And I'm using a Minwax gel stain. You can use any kind of general finishes is far superior, but Minwax is all I have right now for quick flip stuff. If I were like refinishing the wood, I might go with general finishes, but gel stain is sort of like a highly pigmented stain, like regular stain. It's just like all the pigment, all the goopy stuff that like stays at the bottom of your stain. I always mix it with mineral spirits when I use it because it can dry sticky and then it will never dry. And it's really hard to get a nice finish if it's not sort of diluted. So I do that before I go. All right, so this, I'm gonna bring the camera close for. And I'm going to flip this around. And I will not be accepting from any of you, and you want to join the live request, please do that. But I will not accept anyone that I don't know. So this is the sponge I was talking about. And I'm just going to take and go over the surface of the chair with this, and you'll see right away that it dulls out that finish, but it's not scratching the wood. Because I don't want to start from scratch. Sanding all of this down and making it look beautiful would be way too hard. This is going to be flip price, not brand new price, which makes it a little bit more accessible for everyone. But if I wanted to refinish this, I might go over and try and get rid of the entire finish on the wood first with like acetone. I don't think denatured alcohol will work in this case, but acetone might work before I go at it with any sandpaper, because sandpaper can gum up on these finishes and leave even bigger scratches than before. So I'm just sanding the whole thing until it's dull. And then I'm going to go back through with a gel stain, which also, like, this makes the wood pretty thirsty. So it also kind of serves as a wood conditioner too. It's going to shine up the wood, and it's going to deepen and darken the color. You're going to want to use something as close to the colors you have as possible. I picked coffee because it was super duper close, but it was a slightly cooler tone. But it toned out the warmness to look really nice, especially with the new colors that we have going on. Slightly cooler tone, but it toned out the warmness to look really nice, especially with the new colors that we have going on. Slightly cooler tone, but it toned out the warmness to look really nice, especially with the new colors that we have going on it. It's good. the stain could repel off of any shiny areas. So you want to make sure, like I'm looking through the light and I'm seeing where it's shining off. And this isn't gonna like dig through to the wood. You could sand with this all day and it's still never gonna get through the wood. It's not that kind of sandpaper. It's just scuffing up the surface of the existing finish. And we're gonna rely on the magic of gel stain to get us where we want to go. Almost done. Just got the front here. And then we're going to wipe all this down to get the dust off before we come at it with gel stain. Okay. Okay. All right, so now I'm ready to wipe this down with a damp cloth. And I'm going to come back there with a dry cloth because we're going to put an oil-based stain on there and it will not stick to water. So we need to make sure we dry it really good. If you guys are here and you're learning anything at all I ask is that you tap the like button while you're here. It's how I grow my business. And I'm doing a lot for this industry. I've had, in just under 2 years, I've had more than 400 people come through my doors to learn upholstery. Even more, not more than that, but even more people have joined me virtually. In recent months, I just started my virtual upholstery lessons back up in March. So all of my regular classes now you can attend over Zoom as well. So my 4-day week classes, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, those are all available over Zoom too. And what you do is you just bring your project with you to class and I'll walk you through step by step. And if you're learning virtually, I have furniture on hand available to demonstrate skills so that you can learn. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I can't learn that way. But you'd be surprised. It's a very functional class and it makes it easy for you to ask questions in real time while you're working on your project. So this is all cleaned off. I'm just gonna go back through and dry it really well. And then we're going to start laying down the stain. I don't have a stain preference because it's all going to depend. Start laying down the stain. I don't have a stain preference because it's all going to depend. I don't have a stain preference because it's all going to depend. Okay. Let me switch you guys over to. Okay. Let me switch you guys over to the same. I just signed up. Can't wait to come back out. The best of classes. Dee Dee, I'm so excited to have you back. I hope you signed up for a whole weekend. That would be cool. That's like one of the cool things about my schedule is that I have it set up on the weekends so that you can come and visit for a 4-day weekend and get a lot out of that weekend. And right now my classes are buy one get one free, so you can get a 4-day weekend for $150. I'm getting all the dust off of here so none of it gets stuck in my finish. I do not work in a dust-free environment. so I just kind of have to do my best as I go. What you're going to need for this is I have a container that I mix my gel stain and mineral spirits in, and you're going to need a sponge, and you're going to need a pair of rubber gloves, and all we're going to do is apply the gel stain directly on top of this finish. And it's not going to be like when you stain bare wood. It's not going to stain that much, but it's going to leave a color behind that you probably won't be able to see. And some of these bare spots are going to fill in or darken up so they're not as obvious. So that's the goal. So I work with a little bit of fill in or darken up so they're not as obvious. So that's the goal. So I work with a little bit of I stir that up really good because it's still not mixed up. I stir that up really good because it's still not mixed up all the way. I use screwdrivers and I make a mess of them every time. That's okay. I'm okay with it. I don't like to apply straight gel stain to the project because it's really thick. It can dry fast in that state, and then it can leave streaks and marks even if it's not on bare wood. And so I want to avoid making a big mess with it and making it hard to clean off by mixing it with a little bit of mineral spirit. So I just get a goopy bit on here. I'm going to drop it in my tin, and I am trying to get like a consistency, but I have to squeeze it all out of here first. I don't want the consistency to drip on the project. I want it to sit there. I want it to stay, which is what's great about gel stain because it doesn't drip and it doesn't move. It's very thick and goopy, but if you use it too thick and goopy, it'll dry fast and it'll be hard to wipe off. So this, I've just thinned it out a little bit so that I can wipe it on and it's not dripping. It's still sticking, but it's not dripping. And I'm just gonna wipe this on like a lotion everywhere. Like just leave a coat of it on everything. I might go a little bit thicker here. Add a little bit more. So that can really penetrate dark. And this is going to stain through the existing finish. When you wipe it off, you do want to make sure, or even when you're putting it on, you want to make sure you're putting it on in like even strokes, because if you leave clumpy areas, it could look clumpy and drippy when it's done, because you're going to leave it there for a minute. So I always like to make sure that if it dried that way, it would probably still look okay. Because sometimes you just don't have enough time to wipe it off before you could make it look nice. So I'm going to do the whole chair before I wipe anything off. And this hot weather too, it dries faster. I have my garage door closed and it happens to be raining outside, so it makes it a little bit cooler, which is nice. That's basically what we're looking for. We don't want it to drip. We don't want it to fall. We want it to stay even when it's underneath. Before I dip in mineral spirits again, I'm going to dip in gel stain again just so I don't get too watery and too inconsistent of a finish. That's looking good. Keep up the consistency the whole way around, because you don't want it to look darker in some places than others. me to start, well, I forgot this guy. Finish this back up and then I'm going to turn it to do the front and sides. So here that might be too thick. See these drips here? Those can stain like that. I want to get rid of them so that I don't see them in the finish. Because after all this hard work, that would be a travesty. All right, I'm going to turn this. You also still don't want to leave fingerprints. And if you do find that some gets like dried and stuck on there, I found that wiping it with a little bit of mineral spirit soaked in really well to your fabric or your material, the cloth you're using, will thin it out. But you got to get to it fast. You can't just let it dry there. In the heat, that is easy to do. This is going to leave a sheen on it too, but I will still do a top coat of lacquer on all of these to make it last longer. Almost done with the front. If you guys are here and you're learning something or you're just keeping me company, all I ask is that you tap the screen because I really need the engagement to grow my business. I rely solely on social media to advertise my business. Everybody who knows about me probably from here first. Am I getting too far away from you guys? No. Let's bring it this way. I found that these side panels really took the stain really well, and that grain just looks so pretty when you wipe it away. Always go back and wipe over the drips. You do not want to see drips in your finish. Last turn, I think. Try and be as clean as possible. Stuff is a pain in the ass to clean up. Okay, almost there. I think I'm going to have to tip this back to get to the back part. Now this part here is all covered by upholstery, so I'm not like super worried about what that looks like. Only the show wood. Last part, and then we're going to go back and start wiping it. And you can choose to leave it on a little longer if you want or not. Mine's kind of thick and I don't want it to get anywhere near dry. So I'm just going to go back to where I started and begin wiping it down from that way. So I'm going to get some lint-free rags. And every time I use these, like wipe them and get them soiled, I'm going to throw it on the floor and I'm going to let it dry, because if you pile these up in your trash can with a stain on it, it can catch fire. So this I'm just going to gently wipe, and it's not going to leave it as dark as the stain as you see it, but I promise you when you hold it up to the other ones, you'll notice how much darker it is. And just slightly different color. So this is where it's important for you to continue those straight brush like strokes against the, or with the grain, not against the grain, so that if any residue does get left behind by accident, it's going with the grain and you can't necessarily see it. Otherwise you will see it like wipe, like where the white marks are. And you don't want to see that on a nice brand new chair. Oh, the back really did darken up. So this one isn't really soaking any more material, any more stain up. So I'm gonna throw it on the floor. Well, I think I get a little bit more use out of it. Now I can throw that on the floor and start with a new one. When I go back to touch these areas I wipe down, I'm going to use that dry paper towel as my guide. All right. So it still stays pretty dark. Looks consistent with the first one that I did. It's like the wood wanted this stain. It soaked it right in, like to its capacity. It looks so good. Even after I get past this one pass, I'm going to just keep going until I don't get any stain on my rag anymore. Because I don't want that to rub off on anyone's clothes. And it's oil-based. If it's too thick in one area, it will never cure. If you put a finish over top of that, that'll never cure. So you got to make sure to wipe it down all the way. Now there are techniques where you can use to paint this on and layer it on. If I kept doing this, I could get this to go pretty dark. Whereas a regular stain won't layer because the regular Minwax stains have a sealer in them. So once you stain them and wipe it down, it's sealed. It won't take any more stain. But gel stains aren't like that. Gel stain is for DIY, for people to flip things quickly and still have them look really, really nice if you don't have the time to refinish them. If you've ever refinished wood, you know it is so hard to get it perfect. And I know a lot of like veteran woodworkers who still beat themselves up over not being able to sand it right. And if you're not perfect at sanding, it's not going to turn out right. Okay, that is full. And next step is the back of the chair in the front at the top. So let's lay this back down again so we can get to the front. What do you guys think? This is one of those areas that I want to make sure that I get a lot of stain in, because it's some bare wood spots that mostly will be covered up by the welt, but I don't want any of that to show. And I can't afford to replace this veneer. So we're just going to do our best, and the pricing will reflect that. Pretty good first pass. Now we can go back through it again. Okay, now we'll go back through the back side. And I don't think we'll have to flip this back over again. Probably only have to go over this 1 or 2 more times. Much less comes off this time around. And then this will dry while we put the welting on the other one that we already upholstered. And then once we're done doing that, I'm going to show you guys how to put during the next hour, I'll show you guys how to put the back on this chair, because this will be dry enough to be able to do that. Unfortunately, I have to fix the cushion we just made because it is too small. But I'm not going to get it on there. Oop. And then as soon as I do this, I'll also bring that chair over so you guys can, or I'll bring 2 chairs together so you can see the difference. I have a table that goes with this too that I have to redo, which the tabletop was slightly a different color than the legs. But I think it's from sun fading, because the tabletop is closer to this color. So I think the redness comes from fading in the sun. Because I think it's supposed to be all like the tabletop color. Everything is so shiny. It doesn't look thirsty anymore. Let's take this over by the old chair so you can see the difference. I'll bring the camera first. I'll flip this around. Check in the comments. Chris says, I'm so excited to see you in a few weeks. Chris, I'm so excited to see you too. You didn't make the retreat this year, but you did beat the chair off competition. If you guys have not heard of the chair off competition, I'm gonna blow your freaking mind. We're having a chair off competition. It's like Top Chef, but for chairs. It is August 23rd through the 25th. It'll be live here on TikTok. You get to watch it the whole way. But we have 6 people coming to compete. They're all going to work on the same chair. They all get to do it whatever way they want. And there's a lot of different challenges and competitions along the way that are supposed to challenge them. Some of them have 0 upholstery experience. Some of them have a lot of upholstery experience. Everyone's competing against each other. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let me show you these chairs. This is the old one. This is the one that I've almost got completed. I don't know if you can tell the colors. Oh, for sure you can. You can see that this one is slightly darker. But I'm going to take this one out of the equation. Put the one we just put there. Ooh, missed a spot. Of course at the top because I can't see it. It's just a shinier, better version, I think. That one is just a little bit deeper. You can't tell as much. On the side you can though. You can see it way better in person, but this one is slightly darker now than this one, which is how we want it. Okay, so next step, clean this mess up so we can start gluing on the welt. And I'm gonna need an extension cord. Just let dry out. These I want to throw on the floor so they don't catch fire. I let the sponge dry out too. I'll only stay back together. Wipe all this down. So definitely still stain. As I did yesterday too. So the next step that we're going to do is we're skipping the step of putting the upholstery on the back while we're waiting for that chair to dry. And I'm going to show you after you get the upholstery on how to apply the welt, because I'm not sure we'll have enough time to get to it before the next. What time is it? 1:13. So we're here till 1:30. We're just going to work on the hot glue part. Hey, Lucky Peach, how's it going? It's good to see you. I hope your mom is doing okay. So for this, we do want it to be laying down. I would also recommend protecting the wood parts with something soft. I'm just going to put soft paper towel underneath the parts that are touching the table. Might not be a bad idea to pad your table. Let's see how close. Yeah, I think we gotta get over here. Oh, that's much better. There's my welt. Here's my welt. I already had my hot glue gun going while we were working on that last part, so everything is nice and hot, but you're gonna need a hot glue gun for this stage. Just like the, hold on, wait, one more time. Just like the, what is that, caning strip that was around here holding that in, we're gonna replace that with a welting strip, so it's like the same thing. And this just gets, you see how we left a little groove. When at the next hour, I'm going to show you how to do this step, and I'm going to show you how to leave a little groove there so you can fit your welt in nice and clean. Here, I like to start at the bottom because that's the most inconspicuous space and I can bring it back around and overlap it, and you won't be able to tell it's there. So I'm going to start at the bottom here towards the center, but I also have to leave a little bit of this up so that I can come back around and overlap it when I come back. You can choose to put your welt on your welt or in the groove. I'm going to put mine in the groove because I have a lot of groove that I can put it in. And I don't know if you can see this, I use a precision tip hot glue gun, and that prevents me from making a mess. I'm really good at making a mess with a hot glue gun. And I'm just going to push this in nice and tight, and I only do a short distance at a time because I don't want to end up sticking it down in a place where it doesn't go, and I have to pull it back up because this is high temp hot glue gun, or this is high temp hot glue that I'm using with a high temp hot glue gun, and it is going to permanently adhere to this, and sometimes when you pull it out, it'll pull everything else out with it. The goal is to just get that down in as tight as possible. So I'm going to come back around here, just around the corner, because it's a small enough spot I can manage. And I'm just putting the little ridge, let's see if you can see it on this side, the little ridge of this inside this groove. And it's a single welt. You can't see the staples now, and you can't see the stitch on the welt. And it looks so nice and clean. I was never a big fan of double welts, but I know that there's a time and a place for it. But if I can avoid using a double welt, I will, because I don't enjoy them. I don't enjoy working with them. They're really hard. But I do an okay job. I'm also pulling this a little bit tight, this direction, as I drop it into this groove, so that that stays nice and taut here. Now here, I'm having a difficult time, not all of it is fitting into that groove, so I'm going to use my regulator to sort of tuck it in. They're so universal. If you don't have one of these, you gotta get one. So I'm going to come back up here a couple more inches. And maybe we'll get to doing this again with the other chair today in the next hour, but if we don't, I wanted you to be able to see it because we didn't get to the upholstering the seat part. And I have to be mindful this presses down every time I push it, and I don't want to break it by being too rough with it. If you do get hot glue on your fabric, leave it until it's dry. Don't try to wipe it in or else it'll be permanent. But if you leave it till it's dry, you might be able to peel it off. So far so good. That's a nice clean application. That's what we like to see. I did wrestle with the idea of doing a contrasting welt with the solid color velvet we used in the back, but I really hoped I would have enough fabric to do this. And then I got 2 other chairs that I got to go with this set that are fully upholstered that'll go on the ends that I have to find this gold velvet again to make a match. Because I do think a big table like this needs 6 chairs, not just 4. I got the table for my other set of 6 chairs. I didn't realize it had 4 perfectly good chairs that matched it, so I couldn't get rid of it. So I need my regulator again for this side. I'll really tuck it in there into that groove. Keep going around this way until we get to the other side. It took me a long time to get really clean with my welt. I learned a lot of stuff the hard way. And that regulator goes right down in the crack. So I can really tuck it in nice and tight. Coming around the other side now, and I think I'm going to have to re-up the glue juice. Well, it just really helps to feed in any inconsistencies. That channel is huge, so there's plenty of room for it in there. And this looks like it's coming up just a little bit here, so I'm just going to put a little dot of glue and push it in this direction. Like a big stick. Another glue stick. This time I'm going to use the big one. That's hard work. Let me get you guys on the other side so you can see where it connects when we get there. That's what we're looking for. Let me see what we got in the comments section. Hey April, good to see ya. I miss you. I'm so glad your mom is good. We have openings Monday, I think, so message me and see if there's an opening. We'll see if we can get you in So I do have regular classes next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But the following weekend, August 15th through the 19th, is my upholstery camp, summer camp, weekend retreat. Still have one spot left. It's a really fun vacation where you also work your ass off the whole entire time. And we get to stay at the Newton of Ypsilanti, which is a renovated historic mansion in downtown Ypsilanti. We get the whole mansion to ourselves. We get all of our meals are prepared by Chef Allison Anastasia, who is the owner of the Newton. She's incredible. She's an incredible chef. I never had chef prepared meals before. My first retreat with her, and this will be the fourth one we've done together, and they're really so good. They all sell out. Everyone's has a lot of fun. They learn a lot. We go on field trips. This year we might be going on a field trip to Active Phone, which is where I get all my phone supplies. So if you're coming to the retreat, you're probably going to get to go see Active Phone, which is a really cool place where they custom cut all my foam and I get all my upholstery supplies. They're going to give us a tour of the whole back end. So I need these two ropes to butt up against each other, but I need the fabric to overlap. So I'm going to cut this a little long. Take this off. I got to open up this end. And I think I might glue this around a little bit further before I go too crazy. Just so I'm not peeling up against it. Almost all the way around, but not quite. So let that get settled in there. Wait a minute. So I want to open the fabric part up so that I can cut the welt back to butt up against the welt that's already there. Now the next step is I need to get this underside glued in here underneath where this rope is first. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue in here and complete this side, but the bottom layer of fabric only. Tuck that into the channel, and it goes all the way underneath there. Then we'll put a little bit of glue on the inside of there so that this rope can tuck in there. And this rope is going to go right inside that channel with the rest of that glue. So it should appear to be relatively seamless down in this bottom area. That was hard. That was pretty fast actually. That was a little bit of glue that got in there, picked right off. No damage to the fabric. Looking pretty swell. What do we think? Did that seem easy enough for you guys? Did that seem easy enough for you guys? Let me see what you got. I miss class and miss spending upholstery time with friends. I miss you too, and I hope that you're doing okay. I haven't heard from you in a minute. If you guys are here just for this last little spiel, because I'm going to be out of here at 1:30. I'm going to be back at 2 to finish doing, to do the reupholstery part of the chair. This part you guys will learn from 2 to 3 p.m. today. So my name is Kim. I teach upholstery workshops here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I teach out of my local makerspace, and all of those classes are both open to Zoom participants as well as in-person participants. So you can participate in any one of my classes. You can come to these classes at any time. You don't have to start with a specific class and end with a specific class. You can come and go as you please. You bring your project with you, and I help you through the steps one by one till you get to the end of it. So if you've never done upholstery before, you might might even want to start with the stripping process so you know where to start, where to stop. If you have done upholstery before and there's just some skills you want to get better at, come to class and ask me to show you how to do that day. You're also going to learn from everybody else's materials around you. Everybody brings a different project in. Every project is unique, so you might be coming to learn how to tie springs. Someone else in the room might be doing button tufting, and you're going to learn from that too, because I go around the room and I help everybody with their steps. It's a really great way to learn how to do upholstery, and right now all of my classes are buy one get one free. So you can schedule one class and get the second one free. And because my classes are Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, if you decide to come out for the whole weekend, you can get 4 classes for the cost of 2, which makes a 225-day weekend $150, because all of my classes are usually buy 3 get 1 free, but for until August 14th they're just buy 1 get 1 free. So you're going to want to get in on that deal now, because there's only like 11 more or 10 more days left of that. What day is it? This is 16th or is the 6th? There's less than 10 days. There's 9 days, 8 days to the 14th. So be sure to sign up before that deal runs out. Otherwise it'll just go back to the regular buy 3 get 1 free sale. You can always bring a friend free, so if you want to come out for a weekend, bring a friend with you. Extra set of hands, never going to hurt anything. 4 hands are better than 1, and you're both going to have a good time doing it. You can sign up for that. Links in my bio. I also have the summer camp. There's 1 spot left, and then you guys are going to be watching live the last weekend of the month, the 23rd through the 25th. We're going to be doing the chair off competition, where 6 participants are traveling out here to me to take a whole weekend worth of free classes to compete against each other to all reupholster the same chair. I'm pretty excited about it. Chris Gerke's in here. She's one of the participants. Super duper excited. That's it for us today at 1:30. I'm going to be back here at 2, and I'm going to show you how to attach this fabric to the seat where we remove the caning, and hopefully you'll learn something. Then I'll see you guys later. Bye.